Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming in this session in the afternoon. So I hope it's going to be a pleasure for you being here, not after lunch, to have something to cope with. And I hope you will get something to go back home and discuss. Sorry for the delay. I was following my analog watch, so we will start the session. The session is about driving public value through GovTech. And it's, I hope that it keeps your interest because it's two pieces we have in this session. So we have first the GovTech part, and then in the other half of the session we have the Public Sector TechWatch Best Cases Awards, which is the second year that we run these awards, and we recognize the value that public administrations, with the support of SMEs and startups, or with the development that it happens in-house, so it could be that the solution developed and implemented totally inside the public administration, they provide innovation and they bring value to citizens and governments. I would like to start with just going through the agenda. As I said, it's going to be a panel discussion and then the Public Sector TechWatch Awards. And at that point, I would like to mention that based on a study that was published by Professors Bjorn Nehaves and Luca, the value of GovTech market in the world reaches around 10 trillion euros. It's a huge amount, and as you can see in the slide here, the share that goes for Europe, it's around 400 billion. So you can see there is a small difference. This is how we call it. There is a big difference compared to the global market, but what drives the growth of GovTech in Europe, at least, and of course in the world? It's about the public procurement, the practices that they work for public administrations to procure for solutions that they come from mainly, I would say, small companies. So GovTech, it's a term that can include also big companies, but when it comes to our terminology and actually the goal of the Commission also, it's also to support startups and scale-ups to grow, and as they grow, public administrations, they grow and they become more innovative. So the public procurement processes and also the increasing number of these innovative companies in Europe, they have as a result, the impact of them, it's to increase the global market of the GovTech market. Of course, if we check and we go thoroughly in the analysis of the GovTech companies, that they are estimated to be around 4,000 with the study that we ran. It was run actually from the professors, as I mentioned. It's around 5,000 companies. And these companies, they are driving through innovation. So these companies, they try to evolve with the public administrations. And even though there is a big market, as we said, like 400 billion euros, you can see that the difference with the global market is a lot. So towards this, and not only through the public procurement, the Commission is running different activities, and we try to support this growth of the SMEs and startups and scale-ups. One of the activities that we run under the AI continent activity of the European Commission is the Startup Scale-Up Strategy that actually aims in supporting SMEs and startups to scale up and help them to reach the market through public procurement. Of course, this is a long run. It's something that it started and it was adopted back in May 2025. We are doing baby steps now. But we recognize that challenges as regulatory barriers, legislative differences between different countries, barriers and hindering obstacles for entering in the market of small companies in the GovTech market, not only in national and regional markets, but also cross-border, makes these companies to be not afraid, but at least discouraged of going in this market. And there are other factors actually that impact this market. So it could be the attitude that the public administrations they have towards towards the small companies. They don't show, or they don't have the trust to procure and give the solution to them because they are attached to the big companies. They play safe, but of course they somehow skip this very important parameter of innovation, which SMEs and startups, they can innovate faster, meaning that they have faster and shorter ways of decision making. And it's something that brings innovation. And this is how, through the startup and scale-up strategy, also the Commission will try to tackle and support these SMEs and startups to get in the public administrations and to innovate through providing support, implementing, piloting even solutions. And I don't want to spend more time. I just want to welcome Zara, which is going to be the moderator and of this very interesting panel discussion that we will have. And it comprises two esteemed speakers from Denmark, University of Copenhagen, and from Ukraine, the GovTech Observatory of Ukraine. So, Zara, I would like to welcome you on floor, and I hope we have a good session.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Really excited to be here, joined by two very esteemed speakers. I'm Zara Kader. I will be your moderator today, where we will be talking about all things interoperability, so nothing new. We are going to be talking about, how we can help startups interoperate at the local, national, and international level. And I personally come from a background of digital transformation, working with local and national governments, specifically in the UK. That's what Public does. And I'm really excited to hear perspectives from Kateryna and Martin. But before we get into that, I have a Slido poll here, just to get a sense of who the audience is, what your backgrounds are. So if we could just put that up on the screen and yeah, is that something? There we go. Amazing. So now we have a sense of the audience, and as numbers are changing, we have a clear winner that most of the audience here belongs to national administrations, which is very helpful context for us. But without further ado, Martin, Kateryna, would you please very quickly introduce yourselves to the audience?
Sure. I go first?
You go first.
So my name is Martin Brynskov. I've been an academic all my life. I was born on campus in Aarhus, the second city of Denmark. Last 3 years I've been based here in Copenhagen. I've been working with what you could call place-based computing. So when compute isn't just about virtualization, but it also happens somewhere. It's a community, there's an economy, and there's a physical side. And then I'm the founding chair of OASC, which is a lot of local governments globally, but based in Brussels, learning from each other and eventually coming together to define what is the minimal common ground that would be helpful when we do all of our things. Because in fact, sites are, yes, they have things in common, but they're different. That's why we have local councils. It's not just to administer and not have opinions. So I've been trying to find the cross between opportunities and then particularities.
Amazing. Kateryna.
I was just going to say that thanks to Martin, I learned what the second city of Denmark is, and thank you for that, Martin. That's Aros, and he told me a lot about that yesterday. My name is Kateryna. I'm the head of innovation piloting at Global Government Technology Center in Kyiv. We are one of the centers of Fourth Industrial Revolution, which was initiated by World Economic Forum on the one hand, and the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine on the other hand. And the mission of the center is to strengthen GovTech in Ukraine and worldwide. Strengthen how, you might ask? Through research, open innovation, so innovation piloting, and also through strategic communications. And very excited to be here today, and I'm really excited about the exchange that's going to come.
Amazing, thank you. So A bit of context. Today, we want to get really hyper-practical about how we can ensure that GovTech systems really can best interoperate at a local, national, and international level. So that's going to take me to my first question, which is to you, Martin. And we're thinking here at the local level. So at the local level, interoperability is often a catalyst that allows innovators to actually kind of build solutions that work. And Martin, from your work in Denmark, what would you say one mechanism at the local level is that has really effectively enabled interoperable services within local governments?
Hard legislation. Because there are so many barriers, and they are career barriers. They are very simple, interests and differing interests that make it quite obvious why we don't just have an open market where everybody compete on a level playing field. Because for as long as we've had communities, that has been the case. So it would be very strange if we started behaving like, good fellas all around. But I think when there is a very clear regulatory framework, which doesn't necessarily mandate everything in every detail, but says these parts, they're either commodities or they're, taken out of the equation for competition, then you can innovate on actually, the quality of the service and, the price, how you give something back to the community, which I think is perhaps something we can come back to, because these essential priorities would be the priority of any local community, whether it's the local council or, really any group of people you would want, to thrive. And again, the careers sometimes run very counter to the altruistic goals of benefiting the community, society, because you also want to be the big boss, you want to have, things that are expensive and flashy, and sometimes the best solutions are not expensive and not flashy, so they tend to not be adopted. So I think there has to be some kind of regime around insisting as a society that these parts really must be taken out of the equation, because the market and the mechanics of careers simply cannot fix that part.
Fantastic. That's a really great answer.
It's a sad reality.
It is a sad reality, but a great example nonetheless. Kateryna, from your perspective, what core principles would you say empower local authorities to innovate and contribute to national systems? So especially seeing the work that you're doing in Ukraine right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the question. So talking from the Ukrainian perspective, and first starting with the local and regional levels, and what drives innovation and digital transformation there is basically, the governance system. I believe that one of the strongest innovations that happened in that regard was executed by the Ministry of Digital Transformation in 2020, when they introduced the position of Chief Digital Transformation Officer in Ukraine. The position is basically present in all the national level authorities, so like the ministry and big agencies, national level agencies, but also in the regions. And the role of CDTO is basically to drive digital transformation agenda in their respective organization. And the national government provides this overarching framework and guidance, but also the infrastructure, like the backbone, which is called Trimbita, which is a data exchange platform that local and regional governments can connect to and actually build their data exchanges with the national level registries. So yeah, the national level guidance, the backbone infrastructure are key here, but also that framework and the initiative that local and regional governments have to build within that framework is quite powerful. And one of the instruments to actually measure how the regions are being developed and the digital maturity of the regions is the Digital Transformation Index of the regions. And it's like this open scoreboard where each region can see their ranking in the sense of like digital maturity for a year. And the ranking is basically consisted of aspects like digital education, digitalization of services, the projects of particular CDTO, and a lot of like other measurements, also like internet coverage. So it's like quite holistic. So looking at that measurement, looking at the index, regions can compare themselves, and there is quite a bit of a healthy competition between regional CDTOs to actually see who is the best at driving that digital transformation regionally. And I believe that A, governance, but also B, the measurement, the framework that the national government provided, as well as the backbone infrastructure are key here. And in addition to that, the legislation also empowers the regional authorities to innovate and at least doesn't restrict them. It gives them just the nudge. So I would believe that those are the main factors, at least on the regional, local level in Ukraine. But of course, I'm going to talk about the national level in a bit, because that's where the most powerful transformations are happening at the moment. Oh, sorry, forgot to mention one more thing. It's a bit rare that the regional level initiatives are getting scaled up to the national level, but there are still some use cases. For instance, there is a curfew pass permit service that has been scaled from one region to multiple regions. So like as an example of a service that's been scaled up. And then also the training centers for UAV, like learning how to operate a UAV, has also been a regional initiative that's been scaled out to multiple regions, where like citizens, veterans can get trained on how to operate a UAV for like dual sense purposes. So there are still some examples where regional digital transformation can actually get scaled up.
Yeah, I think that aligns very strongly, especially with the findings of the JRC study as well, which is, thinking about how we have to think about governance structures, governance frameworks, but very much at the local level and building that up. So moving on to the national level, we've seen that national interoperability is about scaling what works, especially at the local level. So reducing fragmentation, thinking about strengthening governance, and also creating conditions, especially for startups and SMEs, to go from pilot to scale. So question for you, Martin. Mm-hmm. What have you seen, especially at your work in OASC? What have you seen that's been done at the national level to scale local innovation and also to kind of reduce fragmentation?
Mm-hmm. So 3 things spring to mind. First of all, it's good to have a framework that's common for everybody, that could actually happen on the regional level, depending on your country, if it's like a federal state system, or it's more like Denmark, small, which is one state with size of Hamburg. But if you can somehow allow both for something in common and then also allow for different ways of doing it, that's important for the innovation, because then you also create the market for those good ideas that pop up. And then I think, taking the battles with the old sectors. So many countries have, for 2 centuries, fine-tuned this system of sectorial, responsibility, so that you don't, from a centralized place, have to decide on everything, which is great when you are facing a known situation, but it's shit at doing transversal innovation. So finding the balance between some kind of authority that has an innovation, let's say, sensitivity, and centralized, I think, very similarly to what you mentioned about the Chief Digital Transformation Office or Officer, yeah. But also finding that, on the national level, which, includes, putting files in different places than they used to be, also distributing the power. But when that works, when you can have both, and I think it's actually the same on both levels, that has a very big scaling effect, because it also creates a market for those good ideas. And then finally, ensuring that we're not creating just a little Galapagos in every country, but actually, are aligning with the European and global efforts. And that's very much on the national government to be the gatekeeper on that kind of alignment. So those three roles, I think, are essential, and they're happening in different ways. But one of the things you asked about OASC, the reasons why cities join a network of networks, very often it's to get a voice towards the national level. So you can come with compadres and say, we know that this works.
Yeah.
Can you do something? So yeah, the interactions are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that also links back to that strategic public buyer concept, because, you know, this appears again and again in GovTech especially, is that experienced procurement teams or best practices are what help scale the best kinds of innovations. And Kateryna, with that, from the GGTC Kyiv's perspective, what capabilities would you think are most important for building national interoperability, especially regarding how governments coordinate and procure?
So I will echo some points from the previous part about local governments, because they're very much intertwined. The strong governance structures are super key here, and CDTOs, as I mentioned, are real owners of change, and as you've highlighted, not just regionally but also nationally, CDTOs report to their minister, but also to the Minister of Digital Transformation. So there actually is this train of accountability across the governance structure. And then the second part, which is quite obvious, the modular open architecture is the backbone. Trumbita, which is built on X-Road principles, is one of the pivotal examples of that in Ukraine. Actually, talking about statistics, there has been more than 20 billion transactions conducted through Trumbita since the point of its execution, so for the past 5 years. And talking about time savings, it saved more than 2 billion hours in processing the public services. And actually, there is like a motto in Ukraine, which is called data runs instead of citizens. So it basically reflects on the principles of that data exchange between the register, which powers the ecosystem of DIA, which is bringing me to my third point. Probably most of you have heard about DIA as an app and as a portal, which has digitalized more than 100 public services. However, talking about ecosystem approach and system approach, DIA is more than the instrument of digitalization of public services. It's a kind of an ecosystem which powers businesses with DIA business offerings, DIA City, which is a preferential condition for IT services, IT service providers in Ukraine, then DIA Education, which is the service of providing educational kind of assistance to citizens across Ukraine on multiple topics. So thinking about national digital transformation, not in the isolated services digitalization framework, but as an ecosystem, is a really like the power of Ukrainian approach here. And of course, the Trumbita and the open source low-code register platform like DIA Engine are the things that power this ecosystemic approach. So I would highlight that. But also on the GGTC level, as a center, we're trying to power the culture of open innovation in Ukraine. And this year we've started GovTech Lab, which is an open innovation program, which on the one hand connects real government challenges, and on the other hand, the solutions from private sector, so from the startups. And the idea here is to kind of mix the paradigms of thinking of private sector and public sector when it comes to creation of digital products, and actually merge that gap between the ways they operate. And that's on the crossroad, basically, the innovation gets created, because innovation don't get created in silos. And that's the principle that we're trying to embody with the GovTech Lab program this year.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting that we've kind of segued into thinking about not just the top-down approach, but the bottom-up approach. So a bit of an open question to both of you is, let's thinking about the startup and SME perspective, what enablers and what kind of injectors do you think need to be present for startups to be able to scale and grow effectively within government?
Well, that's the model that we're trying to pilot now with an open innovation model. And there is a lot to be done on the cultural front, where startups will need to understand the peculiarities of creating digital public services, but also implementing them. The implementation bit is the hardest bit, and it varies significantly from private sector to public sector. And that's what young companies who enter GovTech space, from what I've seen so far as part of our program, they don't understand that. And that's why we create instruments to actually teach them and bridge that knowledge gap. And also bringing everyone to the same room, again, in the pilot environment, so private sector companies and government entities that nominate their challenges, and showing everyone the appeal of like the approach of focusing on a challenge first and actually understanding what the problem is and then fixing the problem, as opposed to coming in with like a pre-prepared vision of the solution which is configured already. Like, we're trying to showcase the value of that approach, and we'll see if that works out. But yeah, like a pilot approach of like bringing companies together with government entities is something that we are trialing right now, and we'll see if it works. And by the hopefully mid next year, we'll have like tangible results to showcase on that front. But that's the pathway that we're taking at the moment.
Yeah, so fully supportive of the sort of intermediate, the pilot stage, because pilots can also be sort of ways of collaborating and getting to know each other. But I think also the GovTech space is more difficult, actually not to operate in as a company, but to take capital. Yeah. So if you want to grow, it's like, I mean, it's not an interesting business case. If you watch, you know, the shows, there is like, public sector stuff. No, we don't want. It's not like a growth case. Yeah. So I mean, it also depends on what is the business thinking around it, because I mean, there's the capital, there's the public value, and then there's other things, people, planet, profit. So depending on where you put your effort, and there's a tendency to not recognize the difficulty to attract capital when you do GovTech. Yeah. So that's, I think, also. Yeah.
And rarely VC funding is like a fit in the case of GovTech startups. Like, this vertical just really rarely exists in VCs, and as a result, like, because GovTech companies usually adapt the service approach as opposed to product approach, where that's where the mismatch comes in with like them, their ability to be able to find funding.
Absolutely. So, kind of segueing this into a bit of an EU perspective and international perspective, you know, one of the things that we've seen is interoperability really becomes the bridge in allowing services to scale internationally and across borders. And that's what, you know, we're looking for, that's what we're aiming for. So, Martin, from an EU perspective, which cross-border service or framework would you say is most critical for enabling interoperable public services across countries?
The ones that are used. How many in here are tech people, would identify as sort of tech? I mean, it's not a technical problem. We know how to build systems. We know how to make them safe, work together. But it's like everybody wants their own. So it comes again back to this very siloed approach and entrenched businesses and so on. So I think Bo also said from Aarhus, it's maybe not so important what the actual specification or thing that we create is, as long as we use the same one, right? So I think the recognition that common standards, not just, it's very easy to make a standard, but to make a standard that's helpful and being used under very different circumstances. That's more difficult, because that takes alignment very back to what you said about the piloting approach. And that's very difficult for some, let's say, institutions to work in this more agile way. So I think there's a mismatch about what was effective since the Industrial Revolution, and then now data is just screwing up everything. Yeah. We are learning, and I think actually we are learning from what you guys are doing. You are the forefront.
Well, from my perspective, I'm not going to be the strongest fit to answer this question, but there are colleagues in the room from the Minister of Digital Transformation, from eGovernance Academy, and from DIA team who can address that in a much more depth. But I'll just share a couple of thought starters. Obviously, like Martin just mentioned, using the tools that are abiding by the common EU standards, but also that work, like the example of X-Road in Estonia and the example of Trumbita, which has been adopted by Ukraine, are one of the backbone examples that I've already mentioned multiple times, but I'm sure my colleagues from Ukraine can elaborate on that a bit more. But also going to emphasize here the institutional and operational kind of interoperability. It's not just about technical front, it's also about interoperability when it comes to exchanging knowledge and the institutional capacity. And for that, Ukraine is building quite innovative approaches as well, talking about win-win innovation strategy and centers of excellence, which are part of that overarching strategy, like an AI center of excellence. Another one is in e-governance academy in Ukraine, there is a digital competence center that is basically powering the knowledge exchange among different ecosystem players of GovTech. And yeah, like our center as well is hopefully one of those actors in the ecosystem. So creating those cross-cutting organizations that are powering the knowledge exchange is also a backbone of interoperability, which is outside of the technical spectrum.
Yeah. That's such a powerful point. I think looking at both EU and non-EU interoperability standards and how that's already scaling at this point, and you know how that actually creates an environment for innovators to scale beyond borders. So, on that note, for both of you, if governments could take away just one actionable step to accelerate interoperability locally, nationally, internationally, you know, what would it be? This discussion has been full of really helpful insights, but let's take away one very practical insight for the audience.
I mean, it's not something you can muster very easily, but political will that powers the will to create interoperable environments and ecosystems. Without it, it's extremely hard to create that environment.
I would agree. So I would say it takes three things: the political will, which may or may not be there; the capital, which is there. There's so much money in this world, but it's about actually making it align with the political will. And then the technical means that are not dominated by one or a set of few actors, because then it's not widely used. So I think actually that global standards, happy to inspire from a European perspective, but it's happening in Geneva and in Brussels, these interactions. But I mean, I think, or you also describe, you have to invest in this type of ecosystem where the political will, the capital, and the technical innovation then is, let's say, codified and put out, because otherwise it fizzles. So I think, you know, working together in these intermediary ways to create things and believing that the temporary can be the basis for society, which is a very scary thought for an institution that's existed for, you know, half a century or several centuries. And I think that courage is needed, and that's what I think we are witnessing also from what you're doing.
Thank you on behalf of the Ukrainian team, and again, like encouraging everyone to interact with our colleagues who are in the room here. But yeah, thank you for that endorsement, Martin.
Yeah, thank you both so much for such rich insights. You know, what I think the bottom line is that we see that interoperability isn't just technical alone. It's governance, it's political. There's so much more to it. So on that open note, please join me in thanking our panelists, and I will now hand over for the Public Sector Tech Watch Awards.
Thank you.
Thank you to our great panelists today. Welcome. I hope you're still awake despite this dark room we are in today. Now it's a moment of the Public Sector Tech Watch Award. I hope you all know Public Sector Tech Watch. If you don't, well, you will from now on. It's our observatory, it's a commission observatory on the use of AI and emerging technologies in the public sector in Europe. So what's the logic there? So everyone is using AI. Many governments are using AI. Most of them are actually using them, but there is a lack, and we also discussed this morning, of sharing these cases. No one knows really what others are doing, especially in a European context. So how many Germans know what Ukrainians are doing? How many Italians know how Estonian people are doing? So that's one of the goals of our observatory, try to collect these practices, learn from each other, don't reinvent the wheel all the time, because we know other people are facing the same problem, are using similar solutions, and we want to do the same. So that's one of the main goals of the observatory, and that's why one of the main assets of the observatory is a list of use cases around Europe. So we have now, we have reached recently 2,000 use cases. So it means on emerging technologies in the public sector. It means that we have identified out there in Europe, and with Europe we also include like neighboring European countries that are not part of the European Union. We have identified 2,000 cases, 2,000 projects where administration are trying to use AI and emerging technologies to innovate. So it's a lot of data, it's a lot of information we can learn from. And of course, we don't only put the case there. The cases are open, so they're available in open data. You can download them. They have a lot of metadata, so you can analyze them. Everyone can filter them. There is also an online interaction part. We also produce some knowledge, so we take this data and we try to interview people, learn from people, create some recommendations, propose some frameworks, and then we do every year this Best Case Award. Why a Best Case Award? Well, because we want to know what's happening out there, and of course we can look for cases ourselves, but it's great if administration let us know what's happening. So if administration are incentivized to communicate with the Commission and let the Commission know what they are doing. So we thought about this award as a way for us to learn and for other administration to learn from best cases that are happening around Europe. So it's the second year we're running this award. I think it has been very successful already last year and this year. And again, of course, we have an award, so we have identified the best one. We have selected the one we thought were the best ones around Europe. But it's not only about that. So this year we have been receiving 57 submissions. So 57 is a lot. It means that 57 administrations, more or less, were letting us know what they're doing with a lot of detail. We're investing their time in filling a form and let the Commission know, let other administrations know what they are doing. So if I can say this, of course we have the winners here, but I think all the 57 cases are somehow, having this knowledge, this information about 57 cases, it's already a win for us, but for all member states, because we have 57 very nice practices on the use of AI and other emerging technologies around Europe that we can share, that we can promote, that we can let people know. So all the 57 cases are available in our database. All the 57 cases are available in Public Sector Tech Watch. So I invite you all to have a look. Maybe you find a case that is facing a similar problem as the one you are doing, so you can get in contact with them, say, hey, you did this thing, it's very useful also for us. Can we exchange? So that's a bit the goal, and I think, again, all the 57 cases, I think is a big win for this intention of sharing practice that we'll be talking a lot today, and we are talking a lot in these years. Everyone wants to know what's happening and what other people are doing. Well, we have 57 very good cases across Europe. You see here the technologies, you see here the countries. So we have 13 countries. We have mainly of them on artificial intelligence. Not a surprise now, everyone is trying to use this technology that is getting more and more mature. But we also have something on 5G, we have something on digital twin, we have also other technologies involved. You see also here about the submission. So of course, most of the cases are related with central governments. That's again, not a surprise. Probably central governments are often a bit more equipped, not only to build the system, but also maybe they're more close to the Commission. So you may have a better connection. But we do have 24%, so 1 out of 4 that is regional government, a similar percentage is local government. So it's quite a lot. It means that we managed to reach also the ground floor, not the administration that are having a direct relation with the citizen like municipalities. And you see on the left that they are mostly on general public services, but also we have a lot of environment, public order, social protection, health. So of course, we're talking about AI, emerging technologies that are very horizontal. They can be used everywhere for solving so many issues, for overcoming so many challenges, that is nice to see this transversal use in different domains. With that, I close with this introduction. So again, I invite you, the last thing I want to say, then we go to announce a winner. I know you are all here for that, so I'm just standing behind you and the disclosure of the best cases for the 2025 edition. I invite you to join Public Sector Tech Watch, to the people in the room, to the people online, because we do events, we do also dissemination, we do awareness, we do promote also, we do have also online events. So I invite you to join and to stay connected with us. This is only a little part of what we are doing, even though very important. But now, I think, without further ado, it's time to disclose the awardees of the 2025 Best Case Award. Again, it was very hard. Imagine like assessing 56 amazing solutions on the use of AI, emerging technologies in the public sector, and we had to select only 4, because we awarded 4 solutions. So we divided the solution in 2 categories. So we wanted to award solutions that we called government to citizens. It means that solutions that where AI or emerging technologies are used to somehow create a better interface between government and the citizens, so they have a direct impact on citizens. And we have another category that is government to business. So there we want to award not government to government. So we have to award the solutions that are kind of internal to the government. So they use their own solution for enhancing efficiency, effective in internal operations. But to disclose the award, and just to keep a bit the tension in the room, I first need to invite Stefanos on stage, because the award and Public Sector Tech Watch is a joint work between DG JRC and DG Digi, that are 2 directorates of the European Commission. So the 2 of us will be giving this award to the people.
Indeed, thank you, Luca. And yeah, I'll give the floor directly back to you, so you can continue with the first winner. Yeah.
This is just to create a bit more tension, yes. No? So wait for the disclosure that will never come. But now it's coming. So the first winner is the Government to Citizen Best Case Award. And here we want to award creating a bit of tension otherwise, the Ministry for Digital Transformation in Ukraine with the VIA AI application. So, thank you, Volodymyr, right? To be here with us today. Congratulations, the VIA application has been already spread around in this SEMIC quite a lot, but we read it and it was very, very impressive what you're doing in Ukraine. So now we give you the floor. You have a few minutes to present to the audience your solution, and we take the frame then later for the...
Thank you so much. We're really happy that we actually won. Oh, thank you. So, first of all, thank you to our team. There is team from State-Owned Enterprise DIA and from different part of our teams here. So, first of all, it's your result. So, what actually we do? What we receive award for? As you know, we have DIA as web portal and mobile application in Ukraine that deliver public services. Currently, we have 23 million users with 1 million daily active users and around 10 million monthly active users. So this is sort of quite mature, quite big platform for Ukraine. And we thought that we basically introduce AI as the interface for citizens to interact with the government. to make it simpler, to make it faster, to make it more human in a way, and for user actually to receive public services, to receive whatever they might need from government, basically as using AI assistant as a proxy that basically simplify how government, because we all know the government is complex. So we launch on our web portal AI assistant that actually provides services per person. So you could log in, you could ask, please give me this certificate, or please say how many property I have, or what my situation with taxes, or whatever, and you receive this information in basically text form. Currently, so this is generative AI, so it's not sort of fixed keywords, it's actually sort of LLM that works with a lot of data from our side to actually understand what users want. It's using identification as with any digital public services, so you actually, when you talk to AI understand who you are, they have your ID token. We put a lot of work to make it that this is secure, this is actually safe, so it's not as easy as you could imagine. The model itself, through some filters and through some algorithm, works with data from government registry that connected through Trimbita mechanisms. So actually you could receive information from registry from population, registry of property, or registry of whatever. And the model also generated for you certificates if you need something. Currently, we provide quite limited amount of public services, so it's income certificate, residence certificate, child residence certificates, as well as some other information. For example, information how much pension, I would say pension obligation or pension payment you already paid for your future pension, how many property and what this property is, and some other stuff. Currently we have 125 actually unique users, and it's providing actually around 20,000 services, so it's old presentation for some reason. Actually what we will do next, which is what we're really excited about, which is really hard to do, we want to bring this second version of our DAI, which is our AI assistant, to our mobile application. Mobile application is basically almost every Ukrainian have it on their phone, and this is our flagship product. So if our web portal is, you could play around, you could see what works, what's not. Here is like critically to do it correctly. And we hope that by February next year, so February 2026, we launch it on mobile application. And goal of all of this is to provide basically very simple, very human, and very sort of approachable way for users, for customers, for citizens to receive services from the government. Government is complex. And our role, what we see, is basically to try to proxy this complexity through AI and make sure that individual users don't actually care or don't really need to know how complex government is, and this assistant will basically make the government simpler for him or her. So yeah, basically that's it for me, and I will ask to say what three main enablers for us to actually do that. I think the main one, as I said many times, Ukrainian people. Ukrainian people are really open to innovation, really sort of happy for government to actually implement AI, digital or whatever in public services, because they want to have best public services. And for this allow us to do all this. If we were not supporting by people, especially in terms of war, would not have any political will or whatever, because the population didn't really want this. Ukrainians want this. So this first. Second is we have a lot, as been said, capacities on our team. We have center of excellence. We have one of the best ML engineer, machine learning engineer in our team within our sort of structures. So we are deeply understanding how these things works. And if we work with outside contractors, we actually own this product. We understand every niche, every bit of information, if you could say, what's happening. So for us, it's not a black box. It's fairly understood, and this is basically owned by our team and by government. And the third, I would say, support from our partners. Again, so we work with a lot of partners. Currently, we're working with Labs, EU-based company on voice with AI, and hopefully next year we'll be launch this assistance on mobile with voice. So support of partners and our friends. Thank you so much.
So stay on stage. We have for you the award certificate.
Thank you so much.
I don't know where is the photo, but there is a photo.
Marco.
The pink iPhone.
So congratulations. And you also replied to a question I forgot to ask, because indeed we asked to all of them to tell us which are the success factors, 3 success factors for the story.
But I remember, so.
But you remember? Thank you so much. Congratulations again to Ukraine. Another round of applause.
Thanks a lot, Volodymyr and Dia, for the solution. Dia is already going cross-border. And also in the Commission, we are well aware of Dia. There is going to be a pilot that we will run with GovTech for All, and it goes to North Macedonia. So we will keep in touch and collaborate with you. But yeah, now it's the time for the second award. And the category is government to government. And for this award, okay, if we have the drum, the winner actually goes to the city of Vienna. And with the solution of Vienna AI or VNKI, as it is in German, Austrian. And yeah, I would like to invite Ms. Aslihan Bozatemur Akdag with us. It's a member of the State Parliament and City Councillor for the city of Vienna. So, large applause.
Thank you for introducing Stefano and Luca. Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aslihan Bozatemur. I'm a member of the Vienna Provincial Parliament and also a member of the City Council. I'm here on behalf of our Governor and Mayor, Dr. Michael Ludwig, and also on behalf of our City Councillor for Digitalization, Barbara Novak, who sends you the best wishes for the conference and also the heartfelt thanks for this meaningful award. For us, it's an amazing appreciation for the efforts of our city and also a result of the hard work of the people in our digital department. Some of them are here. I also want to welcome them. It's an amazing appreciation for us. Our Vienna AI in the 2.0 edition is a beautiful example that shows that we in Vienna don't just talk about innovation and digitalization, we also live it. And today it's my honor to present you the key facts about our solution. With our modular solution, we are making the daily work of our employees easier and more efficient while we're staying fully compliant. So far, they produced knowledge databases containing over 14,000 documents and 100,000 pictures. And these resources are presented in a transparent and easily comprehensive way so that users can access over 30 tailored functions for their daily needs. On top of this, we are very happy to combine cloud and open source solutions, and this allows us the important topic of digital sovereignty in an innovative environment. And this was not only technologically achievable, but it was also successful in operations. And that mainly thanks to 3 key facts. The first is impact, which means, does it make a real difference for the users? The second is openness. Do people understand what they are doing, and do they feel safe by doing it? And the third is interoperability. We have already heard several times about it today. Does it work together with other components, which means not only from a technological, but moreover from a business process standpoint? Then our lessons learned, cloud and open source together are great for both innovation and sovereignty. metrics, both quality and quantity, such as user feedback, solution progress, and usage, were an important tool for the success of the project, just to be able to address not only the expected, but more important, the unexpected needs of the users. Of course, this is not the end of Vienna AI. We're just getting started. Now that we have established the platform foundation, we're focusing on the next step, which is enhancing its features while making it easier to use through specific use cases. And our aim is to help all 65,000 employees better understand and use AI and LLMs in their daily work. So this was my short presentation of our Vienna AI. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Commission and to DG Digit for organizing this outstanding conference and for recognizing Vienna AI as one of the best cases in 2025. And my appeal is, let us continue working together to shape an innovative and effective and efficient and human-centered AI future for Europe. Thank you.
Well, the Commission actually welcomes the appeal, and you have to continue like this. And at this point, I would like to invite the whole delegation from Austria. Please come up so we have the picture. And congratulations once again. Thanks a lot.
So that's great. Thank you. Thank you to all the colleagues from Vienna. I think the solution was really impressive. But you know, we had 57 applications, so we couldn't award only 2. It would have been a bit unfair. So we decided to give other 2 honorable mention, we call them, but without being so hierarchical. I think we have other 2 winners today. So we have 4 winners in this edition of the Best Case Award. So I'm very happy to announce the 3rd winner for the category Gen AI for PA, we call it. So a case that was really outstanding for the use of generative AI in the public sector for a very interesting project. And the winner here is the government of Catalonia. Thank you. So Mark is on stage to present the work they're doing.
So thank you very much to organization and to all of you folks. I must say, I am the DG Envy from the government of Catalonia, so I know anything about intelligence, artificial intelligence, or IT. And what I wanted to tell you today is about symbiosis. Lynn Margulis, the mother of the concept of symbiosis, told us that symbiosis is the link between 2 organisms that are capable to cooperate and work together in order to make something better than what they will do as a lonely organism. Here, I must say that what we have done with this project is a kind of symbiosis between the environmental organization, the environmental DG of the Catalan government, and also the Center for Technology of the government of Catalonia. The idea was that we were developing a whole database for all the biodiversity in Catalonia, the CNATCAT, and with this database, we had valuable information that was all centered in one place and was capable to be consulted and analyze it from different perspectives. But the thing was that once we the environmental organization had a crazy idea that maybe we could put some AI into this database, so it would be possible to implement something new, something revolutionary. The idea was to create a generative AI who was able to resonate and to create a draft of a report from the government. We make more than 30,000 reports a year for authorizing activities, evaluation of environmental impact for projects, for plans, etc. So if we could manage to make a draft, not a subsidiary report from one of our public workers, but a draft that we could revise and analyze, we could reduce the 40% of our work. So the idea was planned to the people of the IT sector of the government, Francesc Baulies and Daniel and all these people, and we thought that we would be only in a phase of analysis and we wouldn't be able to improve this project. But the surprise was that in this case symbiosis was a real fact, and we could implement this project, which basically reduced 45% of our report generation, which helped us to structure, to manage, and to organize all our reports, and which also helps to train and make some feedback loops that are able to manage our reports and to be much more interesting in terms of quality. So our idea, we don't want to make reports. At the end, what we would like to do as a public servers and what everybody criticizes us is that we are all the time making bureaucracy, and as environmental managers, we are not in the field. So our best wish would be not to make reports. We want this IA to be able for the people, for the citizens, so they can analyze this before they present as a project. So they can be able to understand if their project has a bad impact to our nature, to our environment, and how can do the project so this has less impact or a null impact. This is about nature, this is about systems, ecosystems, and when you talk about interoperability, I talk about resilience of our ecosystems, and we are talking more or less about the same. That's why I learned so much today about you in this conference, and that's what we want to bring here. The idea is that, in a way, we need to cooperate, we need to work together, and we need to transform together. Not only the IT sector has to transform the organizations, we need to transform together the organizations with the IT sector. And this is the great resume of this project. So thank you very much to all of you and for the organization for the prize.
So thank you also for you and your colleagues to come on stage, of course, because it's always a teamwork, no? You never do things. So congratulations. Pictures are done. A big round of applause again.
Thank you very much. So we jump to the final award category. We received, as Luca said, 57 submissions. So it was a bit challenging to also conclude to the extra categories, the more verbal ones. And the last one is on sustainability, AI for sustainability. And I would like to just say one word on this. It's a solution that actually impressed me a lot, I would say. It comes from Germany. These guys there, they do nice things. And it's actually on, it's an AI tool for species protection. So I would like to invite on the stage Raphael Frank, and it's a data scientist from AI Lab at the German Environmental Agency, and Clemens Murod-Jenda, AI Coordinator, Federal Agency for Nature Conservation. Congratulations, and I would like to invite you on the stage.
Thank you. As we only have 3 minutes, which is kind of like a stretched elevator pitch, we will just jump right into it. Every good solution has a good challenge in front of it. So we're going to start with that. As you might know, as with all other goods, technically, the sale of these goods is shifting to the digital realm. Same is true for endangered species, both the illegal trade and the illegal trade. And as you can imagine, it's really hard to manually search through all that online ads to figure out which of them are suspicious, which of them may have some illegal activities within that. So we've thought about how could digital technology help us here? And obviously at the moment when we talk about digital technology, it's mainly AI. And the cool thing is we have lovely friends at our side from the AI lab, and we talked to them about a solution that we could, how to address this problem that I just explained.
Thank you very much. We try to come up with something which would be helpful, and we decided to divide it into a couple of tasks. And the first one is that we web scrape a number of the relevant marketplaces for selling animals. And then we built a vision module and a text module to analyze the entries and see, okay, does this look maybe a bit suspicious? And we can abstract a number of features from this, like does the animal which is in the picture correspond to the animal which is mentioned in the text? Is the price for the animal reasonable? Stuff like this. And from this we came up with a metric which kind of tells us how suspicious is this entry in the marketplace. And then we can flag these suspicious items and rank them and give them back to a domain expert, because the legal situation is quite complicated, and the expert can then come up with a final decision on how the thing should be treated. And for the conclusion, I will hand back to Clemens.
Thank you. I mean, like I said, it's a huge amount of online ads. We were talking about, we have the scraper, we had it online for half a year and we collected already 50,000 ads. You can't go through that manually. And so even without telling if it's an illegal activity or a legal activity, it helps us totally to just know what it's out there. Which species are traded at which parts of Germany and whatever, or even internationally in the future. So that's a really cool thing. The key takeaways. 2 things I wrote down here. The first one, sharing is caring. It's kind of like a no-brainer, and it fits to the theme of this conference. Let's not build things twice that already exist. So we collaborate, for example, with another, the Federal Agency for German Conservation is also CITES authorities. And we collaborate with others from Austria or Czech Republic and share the code or share our database of images and stuff like that. So that helps. Whatever is there, we share it. Second one is least common denominator. I have a math student, a former math student here on stage, so he probably knows what it is. It's kind of linked to sharing is caring, because it's not always about sharing the whole digital solution in the bundle, but there are parts of it that kind of everyone needs. We have don't know how much it is, but hundreds of CITES authorities all over the world. And they all will need in the future a very good visual recognition of protected species listed in the CITES Appendix A, B. Now it's 1 and 2. On the European level, it's A, B, C, and D. Yeah. So we can also share just this part, because it's kind of similar for all the authorities. That's a good thing to keep in mind. And then we have the 3 recipes for cooking a very successful AI project. The first one I already wrote down here on the slide is our lessons learned. Interdisciplinary teams are the key success factors. I mean, we hear that a lot, but we have front-end developers, back-end developers, data scientists, subject matter experts. We had designers working on this project, and AI is only one part of this digital solution. It might have taken us 10 to 20%. The rest of it is just building a digital solution. So always keep that in mind. And second one was Start small, exactly. For example, our visual recognition was just starting with like 20 animals that are very highly representative for the digital realm, what is like traded commonly. And we can start from there and scale. Like in the perfect world, we would like identify all 20,000, 30,000 protected species. That might take us a while, but we have to start somewhere with the resources that we have. And the third one is very important, have fun. A cool project is 10 times better when the people are working within are having fun, and that was one of the big advantages of this case. The team we gathered, we were like maybe 10 people. They all said, hey, super cool idea. Everyone knows what the vision is, what the goal is, and they worked really good together on the same space in Leipzig. So that's a very important success factor as well. And with that, we call it a day. Thank you.
Many thanks. Here's your, merci. Here's your award, and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. And with this, I think we unfortunately reached the end of this award edition for 2025. We had fun, no? I hope. So we have on screen some lessons learned, but we have it only there. So that's few of the key elements we have taken up today from you, from the people who are presenting their own cases. So there is a lot of working with people, for people. There is a lot of cooperation, interdisciplinarity. We had people, not only technical people here receiving AI awards or Public Sector Tech Watch awards.
While having fun also. It's something that it's good that you have a discipline, but also you like the project, it's well set.
And of course the impact. I think that's something a bit we learned today. Number of users that you can receive with an application, number of hours saved, 800, how many were there? So a lot of hours saved using GenAI, thousands of hours, and then of course what have been discussed a lot today was openness. Try to be open in your AI, in sharing your experience.
Trying to reuse, not try to do something that it's already there, and something that maybe it was not mentioned, but it's of equal importance. I would say, try to pilot, try. Actually, it makes sense. Yes, makes sense just to take the challenge and fail, because also failure it's something that gives you lessons and helps actually for the future. So I think it's coordination, collaboration, be there to try and have fun. Have fun. For me, it was the first and the best, I would say, message of the day. And I don't know if you have to add something else.
No, maybe before closing, we just thank all the people who helped us here. I think there was a lot of support from, you can see here already many people.
Yeah, many thanks to Marta, Eliana, and Giovanni back there at the backstages that they did everything to happen. And of course, to the panelists that I just wanted to mention also that the discussion, that it was very insightful and quite fruitful. And I just want to congratulate both of you for the insights that you provided, that they come from two different countries, but at the end of the day, they are the same, I would say. And the direction is at least the same. And we agree with this, and we are happy for this. So
thank you. And we invite all of you next year, because there will be an award 2026, and we want to receive even more cases next year, because we want more work and more fun. So thank you very much for being with us today. Another applause for all the 57 applications.
Thank you very much. Just one announcement. Vessi, correct me if I'm wrong. At 4:20, there will be the interviews at room B. Room A, yes. So you can follow us. I mean, as we discussed for the winners, you can have your interviews at room A at 4:20. Thanks a lot, and see you next year.